What's up everyone, it's Caddy with MoneyVest. So in today's video, I'm going to give you guys an update on both Advanced Micro Devices and NVIDIA. We're going to do an entire update on what transpired over the last 1 week and go over, of course, the technical analysis, go over some of the important catalysts and headlines for these two companies as well. As always, if you enjoy this video, find it helpful, make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you're just joining us for the first time, and link to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below. I've opened up a few more spots if you're interested in joining our Patreon and unlocking over 40 plus private videos. This is all ad-free content that you can access, as well as entire access to our spreadsheets, our intrinsic value, fair values on a lot of different stocks that are on the watch list, fundamental analysis, debt repayment spreadsheets, retirement calculators. Everything's going to be included, as well as the most important Discord channels, over 20 plus channels on our server, including trade alerts, ideas, buy and sell alerts, options alerts. Everything's going to be included with a link down below. And also do connect with me on Instagram if you're interested in getting some more insights, portfolio updates, P&Ls, behind the scenes, polls, strategies, tips, videos. Everything's going to be over there as well. My handle is going to be CASWRP. So Jensen Huang over the past week has visited a lot of Southeast Asian countries, Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia, to name a few, and they're basically trying to kind of go around these Chinese sales restrictions. As we already know, the US Department has already imposed a lot of restrictions and sanctions from a lot of these US AI chip manufacturers, including the likes of NVIDIA, Intel, AMD, to curb sales to China, because they believe that China apparently is using this technology, especially very, very high performance chips, artificial intelligence technology, to enhance their ability when it comes to weaponizing it in military, defense, and of course advancing in robotics and different parts of technology as well. So they have definitely put a lot of restrictions in place, and considering the growing risk of doing business in China amid the tech war, the company is now looking to expand its market presence. In this regard, the latest investments in Southeast Asian nations could be seen as its long-term strategic move to diversify its supply chain as well as market presence as well. So Jensen Huang did go to a lot of these different countries and is looking at Vietnam as its second homeland as well. And as evident from some recent news over the past week, the co-founder and CEO of US-based semiconductor company Jensen Huang has visited 3 Southeast Asian countries, namely Singapore, Malaysia, and Vietnam. During his visits to these nations, Huang stated that Southeast Asia could be a very important technology location, considering the region's expertise in packaging, assembling, and battery manufacturing. And he also believes that it can play a major role in the semiconductor supply chain, as we already know that India is also a very, very big player when it comes to battery manufacturing, services in semiconductors, and chip manufacturing as well. And NVIDIA signed an artificial intelligence infrastructure deal with the Malaysian conglomerate YTL's subsidiary YTL Power International, and they are expected to start the first phase of the project in starting mid-2024, and the deal is expected to be worth close to $4.3 billion. And in Vietnam, NVIDIA's CEO has shown interest in deepening business ties with the Vietnamese tech firms, and is also looking forward to setting a second base for the company in the country as well. Now, this right here, Tencent and other small chip designers are now starting to swoop into the Chinese market as NVIDIA becomes a little bit more on the back seat when it comes to exporting chips over to China. So according to the US curbs, NVIDIA cannot sell its chips that have processing power beyond a certain limit, certain point. And this means that chip makers who rely on NVIDIA processors to power their AI infrastructure will need more chips so that the models can work easily. So maybe there's an opportunity in Tencent and a lot of other Chinese-based local chip manufacturers, as NVIDIA, AMD try to sort of find a way to get around these restrictions and these sanctions that have been put in place from the US government. So as per the news agency Reuters, Tencent and smaller AI players are accelerating chip product launches and organizing more marketing visits, as they hope US rules affect only the most advanced chips, and they could still turn clients off of NVIDIA and gain some market share over in China as well, because China, definitely $7 billion market for chips used to process huge amounts of data, and NVIDIA accounts for as much as 90% of China's market, which obviously is a pretty significant market dominant share. Now, in response to this, NVIDIA reportedly plans to introduce a trio of GPUs at limbo right under the performance cap. So in other words, they're looking to introduce some more sort of chips, and that's been delayed until next year, that are going to fly right under the limits of those restrictions. We already learned from earlier last year when NVIDIA was trying to work around all these restrictions to continue to export chips over to China, but now they're going to come up with some new products that are going to fly under the radar, under the caps of these restrictions that have been put in place. Now, AMD, as we've already talked about, Advanced Micro Devices is also coming up with their own rival chips to NVIDIA. So NVIDIA not only is facing a lot of competition within the United States, but of course there's been restrictions and sanctions put in place for both of these companies. But now AMD definitely, as I mentioned before in my previous videos, is coming out with its own artificial intelligence chips, and that is going to be called the MI300X as the most advanced AI accelerator in the market, and it predicts will reach $400 billion by 2027. That's the overall market that they are expecting it to hit. So AMD expects the MI300 chips to be its fastest product to hit $1 billion in sales, and Target believes it will achieve around mid 2024, and a variant of the MI300X, the MI300A, will cater specifically to supercomputing as well. And Thursday's rise in AMD shares suggests investors believe the chipmaker can take a chunk of AI chip market from NVIDIA, so the battle is going to be very, very fierce. All the company projects only $2 billion in AI GPU sales in 2024, lower than the market expectations for NVIDIA's AI revenue, significantly lower because NVIDIA's AI revenue is going to be dwarfing AMD's, and Wall Street expects NVIDIA to post more than $16 billion in data center sales in the current quarter alone, although that metric includes other chips besides AI GPUs as well. So AMD and NVIDIA are engaged in a fierce battle, as we already know, with both GPU makers claiming AI superiority over each other using optimized software stacks for H100, which is NVIDIA's, and MI300X chips, which are going to be advanced micro devices as well. And of course, we also learned earlier in the month that Microsoft, Meta, and OpenAI are set to use latest chips from AMD, which obviously has caused advanced micro devices to rally as much as it has over the last several weeks. So if you come over to AMD's chart, this has been a phenomenal rally, back-to-back weeks of green. This week up almost 8%, last week up another 6%. So in two weeks, AMD's rallied over 19, almost 20%, not to mention from the last week of October at $93, AMD's up a little bit over 50% as well. So that's definitely seen new 52-week highs, getting up to over $141, and of course been a very, very nice move to the upside. I've been bullish on AMD for a very long time. I recently started building a position. I'm up a little bit over 30% on that position. I do believe that the rally is only getting started because either NVIDIA is overextended and needs to come down, either that needs to happen, or AMD is somewhat, technically speaking, a lack of that momentum is going to drive the prices higher. One of those two things need to happen because there is certainly a little bit of a discrepancy between how much favoritism has gone towards NVIDIA versus advanced micro devices in this battle for artificial intelligence and the chips. So when it comes to the technical analysis, AMD has certainly seen a very nice breakout to the upside, and my next target for AMD and the next resistance is going to be at about $164. So this right here is going to be that next level to watch. That's the next target that I have for AMD, but I also have to be aware of the fact that we've got a very, very overbought RSI and a MACD. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a little bit of a pullback, maybe come back down to 130s, possibly even down to 120s before making that next leg higher, considering how much potential growth there is for these two companies, not just AMD, of course, NVIDIA as well, but NVIDIA, for me, from a valuation perspective, does seem to be priced for perfection. So there's been significant gains for NVIDIA over the last year. I mean, it's up a little bit over 200%, I think, and AMD is up over 110%. So definitely been, significant momentum for NVIDIA versus AMD, but AMD still has a lot more to go, in my opinion, going into 2024 as the new chip rolls out, and there's a lot of scaling for revenue. 164, 165 is going to be that next resistance, with the support level sitting roughly at about $130 per share for advanced micro devices. So that's going to be the entire analysis. Very nice breakout to the upside. I would be buying a lot more shares at sub 90, sub $80. You guys already know where my fair value is for advanced micro devices. So what I'm looking for is a great deal. And NVIDIA here also pushing higher very, very nicely. But since the last few weeks, it's up a little bit over 8%. Of course, since October, last week of October, it's up over 21%. So we have definitely seen AMD outperform NVIDIA in the last 2 months. So October, November, and December, we've seen significant outperformance that's come on the back of the new announcements from advanced micro devices, relatively speaking to NVIDIA. But NVIDIA, of course, on a year-to-date basis, dwarfs AMD's gains. It's up a little bit over 229%, so twice as much as AMD. So next resistance is going to be at about a $500 level. This right here is going to be that next resistance and target to watch for NVIDIA. And support level is going to stay put roughly around $400. We've seen a lot of consolidation, and NVIDIA really hasn't gone anywhere since June of 2023. So like the second half of 2023, haven't really seen a lot of momentum for NVIDIA, and advanced micro devices also at the same level, pretty much the same level from back in June, but of course a little bit higher than where we are. So up almost 8%. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and what do you think about these two companies? Now, I do personally believe that there's going to be an environment where both of them coexist at the same time. Of course, NVIDIA is a market leader. AMD is certainly getting up to speed with artificial intelligence. There's a lot of potential growth, in my opinion, for this company versus NVIDIA. But let me know in the comment section down below. Who are you betting on between the two? Who are you more optimistic and bullish on over the long term, whether it's AMD or NVIDIA? Of course, there's going to be both that are going to do well. That's exactly one of the reasons why I have SMH. And that has obviously done really well since, November 1st. It's rallied over 26, 27%. So I do like SMH, and I will continue to dollar cost average into this ETF. But between the two, let me know which one are you betting on over the long term. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it helpful. If you did, make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Again, links to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below. And as always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.